Welcome to Both Sides of the Coin. We got a special show tonight. We got Jay Nelson, who's was guest hosting, but now we're all here, so I don't know what's going on. We start late because things are going crazy and Sideline Sports, all sorts of stuff happening. We got Adam Gold, who's leaving to go somewhere, some CIA secret op mission starting tomorrow.
That's not a secret. I'm going to make some money. That's what I'm doing. Let's go.
It's a business trip.
And of course, your man JB Ellis, and we're on both sides of the coin. So, what's going on, fellas?
Well,
that was terrible intro. That is not the intro. When I bequeathed that responsibility to you, you are supposed to kill it, and that was like a cold, wet fart. That was terrible.
That was
welcome to both sides of the coin, where the facts do matter and political correctness does not. Going to have some arguments and some heated discussions, but we'll always stay friends at the end because that's what matters here. Now, JB, I do have a bone to pick with you as well. Why is this show not in the intro? Like, that should be like the staple point. Like, boom, Wednesdays, BOTC.
I think that it should be like the Star Wars. I think like it should be like the Star Wars thing where it scrolls on the screen. You know,
that would be dope.
Sure,
I think you should. I think you should develop that with all your free time. I think.
No, I'm just the accountant. That's it. No, I mean, listen, I'll bill you for it.
Send it to Jay.
Season's over with. I think you got the time now, Adam.
Send it to Jay. He takes care of all the bills.
My tax
there we go.
Just starting, man. There's so many people on extension. Let's not go there. Let's not. That's why I need some R&R. I'm going to the Big D this weekend. It's going to be a fun trip in the heat. Going to the card show in Dallas. If you're going to be there, hit me up. Going to be flipping some cards, hopefully. So that should be a fun little trip. Going out and meet some clients too. So it is business, a little bit of pleasure, but you know,
nice.
It'll be a fun time.
We have to talk. We have to talk later. I got some ideas for you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I've been really pushing my Instagram at golds_cards. Been growing that and going to do some reels and some stuff talking about the things I'll be looking for, cards to buy, you know, like that Josh Allen that I got into for super cheap, into them for a couple grand and flipped them for well over 5 figures. A nice little trade, riding the hype train. You know, all sorts of stuff. I need to get a YouTube channel of my own and just do all that stuff. But that's besides the point. We're not here for that. We're here for
zero money in Chicago. So disappointed.
Yeah, because you wanted to buy crap. So I made you money by not spending money.
So I've seen zero profit on this. So
you put zero in.
Right, and I came back with zero. So zero equals zero. So zero.
So I told you, bring $3,000. We'll find 5-6 cards you can grade. You'll hit 50 to 60% of them. That means 3, maybe 4, and you'll double and triple your money on those. And the other one you'll sell for about what you bought it for.
That sounds
the way it works, man.
All right, so we're going to talk about this. We're going to make some money, Jay. You ready?
Hey, yeah, absolutely.
Listen, I'll give you a quick little example. All right, I'll give you one quick example, real quick. Wander Franco. I was buying a bunch of him in the preseason, and I have one left that I didn't flip before the season started. It's at grading. Okay, I bought it. It's a Wander Speckle Auto, Bowman Chrome first rookie. Okay, big card. Bought it for $2,000, like 18, 1900, somewhere in there. After grading, I'm into it for almost $2,000, right? Well, I bought it in the offseason when he was down. Now he's hot. And even if the card doesn't grade, if it grades, I'll be able to sell it for almost $6,000. If it doesn't grade, I'll be able to sell it for like $3,000. So even if I don't hit, I still make money.
Wow.
True.
Because I bought at the right time and I'm selling at the right time. That's the way you have to do it.
So why can't I just give you money and let you make me money and I give you a cut? Why don't you have this as a business?
I have no interest in holding people's money. I don't like that. I'm an accountant. I've done forensic accounting for too long. That is a long, windy road.
I don't want you to hold my money. I want you to buy cards and then sell cards and then buy more cards and sell more cards.
There's a risk with it involved. There's always a risk.
Of course.
There's nothing guaranteed. So,
I'm not expecting
then
you to
if
say it.
you lose money on your deal, then what? Like that's what I'm saying. I will tell you what to buy, and I'll tell you what to sell, and I'll hold your hand like I do in our arguments when you think you win. Like that's not
Wow.
Wow. This is
but
bad.
you've been bad for a little while. It's okay. You'll make money easily. Just like I said, you need a couple grand, like $3,000, buy 5-6 cards in that $500 to $700 range, and send them in to get grading. And you just got to know what you're looking for. In that Chicago show, you should have been buying football. I told you that. If you bought some of those Allen cards, they would have skyrocketed. Some of the Allen cards that I just bought, like that, what was it? The on-card auto contenders. I bought that for $3,000 at that show. It was a 9-5-10. They're selling for $5,000 now. The same card is just selling for $5,000. Because I told you what happened. So his National Treasures rookie card, the big iconic one, sold for $312,000, and that spurred a buzz for him where everybody was just like, oh, I want to buy a Josh Allen card. And the problem is that there actually are not a lot for sale. So all of his cards just started jumping, and that's why I was like, I'm just selling everything I have right now. I just sold everything. Just sold and just took my profit and went to the bank. Bought some more Herbert cards.
That's awesome. All right, so
yeah,
enough card talk because I haven't been anybody yet. I'm at a 0 with a 0, but it'll happen.
Sounds like your win rate and arguments on here too. So
wow, that would be a 1 with 2 zeros.
Here we go.
I'm like 2 for 2 today, man. I'm like that guy that hit the 2 home runs, the grand slams to win the game. It's like, oh man.
Wow. It's good to think high of oneself when it's not true.
No, it's good to be right.
That would be me. Yes. Thank you.
Oh, nice comeback. Whew, that was a doozy. Oof, man. Ow. Oof. Like shot me here. Oh man. Oof. Oh, that hurt.
So why are we here tonight? I mean, it's almost like you're Pat Bev and I'm like CP3, except I keep winning championships.
Right. You don't win anything. You just complain. You get to the finish line. You're like, oh, my leg. Oh, crap. And Pat Bev's like, yeah, I'm a good defender. I school your ass.
What are you talking about? I'm on Sideline Sports, the best sports network ever. I've already won.
Okay. But what? You said you're CP3, who hasn't won anything. Nothing.
Well, I was using the analogy so we can get to our first topic.
Right. You said you were CP3. I'm using your own words.
Except I keep winning.
Backing yourself into the corner, Matt.
Oh.
And again, delusions.
Wow.
Delusions.
Wow. Edmonton is only down 2 goals. They were down 6-2 and 6-4. This game is wild.
It's the second period. It's
I'm
crazy.
just I have the hockey.
That's called like I'm getting my butt kicked. Change the subject. Edmonton's on. Oh yeah.
Absolutely not. This is the greatest hockey series of all time. This is gonna be like 100 goals in this series in 7 games.
Dude, there's been 10 goals scored, and it's like 6 to go in the second, man.
It's insane.
This is like if Allen and Mahomes played hockey, like legit.
It's insane.
Here's the thing, though. When it comes to hockey, I'm usually an offensive guy, but when it comes to playoff hockey,
these teams will win the championship. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's why I don't find like that. To me, does nothing. Like,
it's fun to watch.
I watch hockey.
This is fun to watch. This is insane.
Yeah. So is watching you get schooled. That's fun to watch too.
Just never happens. Just never happens. That's why you keep watching. You're waiting for the first time. It's kind of like the Red Sox winning the World Series. You got to wait 100 years for it to happen.
So yeah. So like with the
the Red Sox have won 3 World Series since you have won one. What?
And before that, what was the last time?
And before that, don't get started on me with my Cowboys argument. We've won 5, since what? It's old, bro.
Since 2000, it was World Series.
Okay. The Cowboys.
The Cowboys have more World Series than.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
They
How
really
dumb
are
that
America's
argument
team if they done that. I guess Cowboys
That's
won the
how
NBA
dumb
Finals too.
that argument is. That's
Cowboys
how dumb it is.
three-peated.
I've noticed with
Listen.
you, whenever I'm right, you like to use it to dumb argument. So I just know when you say that, that means I won. So undefeated.
Undefeated at being defeated. Yeah.
Never defeated. The people's champion.
You're
That's me, the
super
people's-
choppy tonight. Is that me or is that you?
JB says he's for the people. He's for the people.
It may be you.
Saying he is and being are two different things. Joe Biden says he's for the people. How's that working out? Record inflation, highest gas prices ever, and a stock market that's bleeding money. Like, not
That's
gonna
it.
go to that analogy because that'll get
$5 a gallon for gas. There's less traffic, right?
Sure don't look like it.
I know it really hasn't.
We're at 414 down here in Houston.
Wow, I wish. I think I saw one day it was 450 something.
We're almost 5 in Jersey. Yeah, it's like 460.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But Jersey sucks. This place
California is
the
nearing
armpit of America.
$7.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
California is nearing
California is the
$7
worst
a
state in
gallon.
the country. Literally the worst state in the country.
I
Literally,
disagree.
it is just like.
What's so bad about California?
Listen. The state isn't bad. The way it's being run and destroyed is what's bad. Insane. You really think you can live in California?
If we pooled all our money together,
I know it's super high. I actually weighed out one time which one was legit more expensive. Was LA or was like living in LA or living in New York City? But I mean,
LA is definitely more than New York City. Their state tax rate is absolutely insane. Remember who you're talking with here.
No, I know. Like, but you know what? But no, I was genuinely asking because that's your field.
Tax returns. Yeah, I filed 20-some tax returns in California, and prime example. I did a couple, each making around 60 to 70 grand, like 150 total, and they paid more to California than they paid to the federal government. It was
crazy.
I think they paid something like $8,000 or $9,000 in taxes to California. It was something insane. It was on top of their withholding, so it was ended up being 20% or.
Is that why
it was insane? Or not 10% is what it was. That's what it was.
Is that why Pat Bev lost his mind all those years living in LA?
Dude,
probably.
How is that not more prevalent? When you think about these things. If you're an athlete, right, and you're offered $300 million to play in Texas for 10 years, or you're offered $300 million to play in California, LA for 10 years, you realize that if you go to LA, you're going to pay almost $170 million. It's going to be over 50% of your entire salary to taxes, like $170 million. You go to Texas, you're going to pay under $100 million. That's the difference because Texas has no state tax. It's insane. That's why these arguments of the rich need to pay their fair share. Rich need to do you realize? People don't realize. Do you realize that 60% of households paid zero taxes this year? Did you realize the top 1% paid over 70% of all taxes paid this year? And not only that, do you realize that those 60% that don't pay taxes, actually a bunch of them get refunds through the earned income tax credit, which you barely have to contribute any money to? You can have $10,000 of income and get a $5,000 refund and pay zero in taxes. Yeah. That argument is so disingenuous. It just is. The rich pay their fair share. Taxing them more is not the answer. Cutting it, there's two things you can do, right? Two things. You can raise revenue, you can decrease expenses. We've raised revenue as much as we can get. You can decrease expenses. That's what needs to happen. You need a budget cut. That's the problem. But nobody wants to talk about that.
So just bouncing a question off you, okay? So maybe private companies or corporations, if they just kind of lower their, not wages, but if they lower their demands or their, what they charge for whatnot, that would help out a lot, right? I mean, in the grand scheme of things. Like
That doesn't
because
do
because
anything. Listen.
well here's the thing.
And this
Because
is something that Trump ran on, and this is something that he ran on. Whether you agree with him or not, I'm just saying he realized that when you increase payroll, meaning you have more jobs, if you decrease taxes to incentivize more jobs, it's a smaller percentage of a bigger pool of people. So more people are paying taxes, which actually increases revenue, even if you cut the actual rate. When you raise the rate and you raise taxes and you start crunching these corporations and raising what you have to pay people, they cut people, they cut jobs. You might be getting a bigger piece of the pie, but the pie is much smaller. That's what he did. That's what helped the economy go, was getting more jobs and having a bigger pool to pull from. Tax revenue, he cut taxes and tax revenue actually went up. How ironic is that? He cut taxes. His tax cuts. Remember the tax cuts? He cut taxes and revenues went up. So, and then at the same time, that whole SALT limitation, like, rich need to pay their fair share, but hey, we're going to allow the rich to deduct more from the big, massive houses that they have. Like, it's just so disingenuous when you look down into it. Like, it's just so disingenuous. You want to make the rich pay their fair share, then remove the limitation on Social Security taxes. Like, you guys realize that when you pay Social Security, you only pay Social Security tax on the first 160-some thousand that you make. 142, I think it was this year.
Yes. I think it's
Everything above
142
that, you don't pay tax.
Yep.
Everything above that, you don't pay Social Security tax on. The reasoning is that, well, you have a maximum that you can take out. Okay, well, if you're part of the top 1%, you don't need Social Security to live on, so contribute more. They don't want to do that. So again, there's so many, when you actually understand the tax code and look at things and you see what's really going on. This is part of the reason why, and again, I'm somebody who voted both left and right, but this new leftist regime, I am just so anti, because I just think they're so talking out of both sides of their mouth and just trying to convince people that they're part of the moral good, when all they do is really just say, look over here, but do the exact opposite in reality. And it bugs the crap out of me. It bugs me.
Interesting. Makes sense, though. I do agree with the other social. I do agree with the other Social Security thing, though, because that would actually solve the Social Security issue and also raise revenue.
Like nobody wants to talk about this, but at the end of the day, like, there's only so much you can do. Like, if there's no money there, there's no money there. And this is why I can't stand anybody that's trying to talk about we need more government. We need more government jobs. Like, you realize the government ran our 401k plan for 70 years and ran it into bankruptcy. And you want to give them more money and give them more jobs and more responsibility. That's your answer to fixing this problem?
Just like the Edmonton game. Right? I'd like more goals. It's 6-5 now at the end of 2.
It's a 1-goal game.
I don't know. Guys, just get ready for a recession, because it's happening. I mean, we're already in it. It's happening. So the question is how bad is it going to get? That's really the question.
So now that we've had the good, the bad, and the ugly of what's going to happen, let's get back to Pat Bev. So we've all played sports, right?
Right.
All right. So
go ahead.
Go on ESPN and go off on a guy who used to be your teammate or is in the league like that. Do you think that was cool in any respect? Really?
Yes.
This isn't the WWE. Yeah. That was disgusting. Have a little pride.
Political correctness.
It's not about being politically correct. It has to do with
It is. It was real, man. That was real. That was a beef that he has. That's how he feels. He wasn't going up there and sugarcoating anything. He talked about how he felt. Why do we have to always suppress how we feel to put on a show? I don't want fake crap.
What has he won? What has he done in his career? to talk
But
that
what
much
does that
smack.
matter? What? So you have to win something to have an opinion? So no three. We can't talk. We can't say a word.
Not
Not allowed
necessarily
to.
that.
We have one.
I think it's a case of, because had it been any other athlete, it probably would have been halfway acceptable. But because the previous year he shoved CP3 in the back in a losing effort in a playoff game, that's why folks were all like, "Oh yeah, this is personal. This is personal." He'd been waiting to get his platform to say something like this, because he got whooped in an elimination game, and then he got mad and frustrated and shoved them in the back and whatnot. If that event had not happened, then maybe this commentary from him would have been more accepted. But people are holding him to what happened last year, and it's just how people are, whether we agree with it or not. But I mean, it is what it is. Like, folks are gonna look at it and say, like, "Oh, well, it's from a personal standpoint because you lost an elimination game to CP3, and you made it personal, and you felt like it was your time to finally have your get back." And that was from my perception.
If he said something at like game 4 or game 5 or even after game 6, oh, the pressure is mounting. Like, okay, I can get it. It's a little premature, but he waited until he actually had a point, because he does have a point. That wasn't just like a bad game, dude. That was one of the all-time epic collapses and busts of all time.
It's horrible. It was disgusting.
2-0 in that series, and they were showboating. And they got kicked in the nuts. And my point of that is, he's not wrong in a lot of the things that he said. And he may have a vendetta with him. He may have an axe to grind. But at the end of the day, what he said wasn't wrong. He might have embellished a bit, but he wasn't wrong. I mean, dude, they just blew a goal. That was probably his best team he's played on in his entire career.
Yeah. They won 65 games, NBA best. They was 11 games better than any other team in the league, like that.
Might not have been the most talent-wise. Like you can say maybe the Clippers of one of those years was more talented, but the league was way more talented then. Not the league is more talented, but the path to a championship with this team was the easiest by far.
It was
by far.
I mean, I know the Mavs had Luka, but they should have taken him out, like, no problem. And the fact that, I mean, okay, I'm not disagreeing that in the last 4 or 5 games he did play bad, but and like I said, I'm just speaking from the grand scheme of things here, of how people are going to view Pat Beverly. You are right. He is calling him out. Man. He called him out on his bad play,
Yeah, that's what he did.
And me, as a bit of a CP3 fan, even I was like, yeah, dude just totally disappeared at the game 3 or whatever, or game 2.
Game 2.
But people are just gonna see it as, oh, well, you waited until this moment to say something, because he didn't say something after game 3. He didn't say something after game 4. He waited until he was completely knocked out to say something.
So he's a loser.
That's the right time to do it. Screw everybody and all these. Who cares? All right, so do you think he's a loser? Who cares?
I do.
So, who cares? He's allowed to have his opinion.
He can have his opinion. A losing opinion.
He's a pretty good commentator on ESPN. I'm not going to lie. He breaks down games pretty well. He talks from a pretty good perspective.
When he retires, he has another career in it. Maybe he can come on Sideline Sports, and we can fit him into our schedule.
I think he'd be a good coach. I really do.
Listen, and when he grows up, when he grows up, there's always a shot for him to work with us here on Sideline Sports.
We're still waiting for you, so I wouldn't hold your breath.
Oh, wow.
Wow. You're killing me.
I know. All this winning. It's like Tiger Blood, man. Can't stop. Just can't stop.
Killing me, sports.
What was the other part I want to talk about that, though? So you're a CP3 fan. So do you think this tarnishes his legacy at all? I mean, like, Originally, I would say no if it was a competitive Game 7 and he lost. But the way they lost that Game 7, like, how do you come out knowing this is one of the biggest moments of your career and just quit? Like, it's almost like James Harden. Like, we should talk about that too. Did James Harden quit? I think he quit.
Well,
Yeah, I think James Harden is a.
well,
I think
here's
you know what?
Well-
I literally, like, he had 2 shots in the second half of that game. A win or go home game. Your star shooter has 2 shots. JB, you could have 2 shots with a broken foot if you had to in a game like that.
But Ben Simmons couldn't. So
Dude, Ben Simmons is another category. Dude, that cat, man.
now
I'll
see
tell
here's
you
the difference here.
I'm just gonna one thing I'm gonna say. Biggest blunder ever in history was them choosing Simmons over Butler. You imagine Embiid and Butler together?
well,
Oh my god, they would have won 2 or 3 championships.
without a
What
doubt.
a blunder that was.
Jay's a deep thought. I want to hear this one.
I want to hear. Go ahead.
The only difference with what you said, Adam, is Harden was not the number one guy. Embiid is. We know this.
I agree.
Paul is the number one guy on the Suns. This is why he's
Ooh, I
getting
don't know.
more heat than Harden.
I
think Booker's the number one guy.
Okay, stat wise, scoring wise, maybe. But who's the veteran they all look up to?
Isn't Harden the
Okay.
It
same?
ain't Book.
He's the veteran that everybody looks up to. The one hand.
I
on the
don't-
ball.
Oh, I don't think people look up to Harden the way they do CP3.
I'm just saying that's his role. Whether he is that or not, he is supposed to fill that role of the veteran ball handler that scores, and people should be looking up to. That's the role he was supposed. They brought him in to fill. I
I mean,
agree.
even-
He doesn't fill it because
If only we had a Philadelphia Sixers fan that was watching. I don't know, maybe with the initials JT, that could tell us what they think of James Harden.
Send him the link. We got a couple minutes. I mean, send him the link.
Let's see. How do we do such a thing? Do we know anyone? Is there anyone around that would be able to do this?
Listen, all I'm gonna say is, regardless of how you feel about any of it, the dude had 2 shots in the second half of an elimination series, like 2. Like, he quit. He literally had a temper tantrum on the court. What a spoiled brat, and he's gonna get paid too. That's the worst part. Dude is gonna get paid. It's
You think
Yeah,
he's gonna
yeah.
get a super? You think he's gonna get a super max?
I hope not. If
Well, hold on. That ain't what I asked. I know what you hope not, but there's a difference between what you hope not to happen and what you think is gonna happen.
I mean,
Do you think he's gonna get a super max deal?
He's gonna get paid somebody. I just pray it's not the Sixers. It's gonna
If only
ruin
If only we had a Sixers fan that could tell us about this. I just wish I knew somebody.
If only
Hang
I
on.
had somebody that could have a good argument. It's just wish I knew somebody. It's like, geez.
It all starts in ourselves, and since you don't see a good argument, you wouldn't be able to understand a good argument.
What?
Exactly. See, you can't get with the new age logic.
Right. Just say random stuff until you confuse everybody and then declare, I'm the winner.
It works. Sometimes that works.
It works
Sometimes
with
you
Joe
have to-
Biden. So, and you share the name with him too. So, I mean, must be something right with that.
Sometimes you got to step outside the box. Sometimes you got to go
Yep,
through the
Joe.
box.
Yeah,
Sometimes
Joe,
you
I
got
agree
to.
with you, Joe. That's right, Joe. Yep.
See,
Yes, Joe.
you're learning.
I agree, Joe.
Learn.
I'm literally changing my name for you in my phone to Biden. I'm literally doing that.
Nice. I am presidential.
That's a hell of a promotion you're giving, JB.
Why not?
Sleepy Joe.
I wonder if we have a Sixers fan that could
There
can
we
answer
go.
what they
I'm
think about
here.
James Harden.
You called me out. So I'm here to let you know what it is.
So James,
So we're talking about James Harden. That
Quit.
it was brutal. It was a brutal performance by him. But it's not over. It's not over. Give him another year. I think that he's obviously not in shape. I think that he's at the lowest point probably in his career right now. And he hears the things that everyone is saying about him. He even posted about it the other day. And he heard what Joel say about him. He's not the James Harden from back in the day. So it's going to make or break him. He's either going to come back motivated or he's not. And, it's going to be a complete flop. But I think that if you're the Sixers, you got to try to fill the bench out. Bench was terrible in this series. It wasn't just Harden that lost us this series. Embiid did all he could. He had a broken face. He had torn ligaments in his hand. Just wasn't right. Our team just wasn't right. Our team wasn't ready to win. So credit for Miami. Same kind of thing. Chris Paul was in that situation where he had a hamstring. He appeared to be washed up, but he had a rejuvenation point, and he really kind of turned it around. And then, it wasn't so good for this year, but I think that's a good comparison to make when you're looking at both these players where they're at their career.
Now with Harden, isn't the curse of the Kardashians?
The curse of what?
The Kardashians. I mean,
No,
literally.
No, that's impossible. That's undefeated. Look at Devin Booker. He got Kardashian in the game 7. I mean, he had like 2 points throughout, like almost into the third quarter.
Now,
if I'm the Sixers, you only have so many years of Embiid left. You have such little time. Maxi's coming along. I move on from Harden and get some other guys in there that take a shot with them.
We can keep Harden and bring in other guys. James Harden, I heard you guys talking earlier about the max contract. The max contract is not happening right now. They are going to offer him a deal that's flexible. If he performs at a high level, they will rework it and they will give him more money. But as of right now, the Sixers' plan is to sign Harden for less money for the time being. So they're going to dump Tobias Harris's contract. And they're going to try to open up another spot for a max player, to which they'll bring in another star, or they'll fill out the bench with quality role players.
What other stars are available right now?
Bradley Beal's a free agent. Zach LaVine's going to be a free agent.
Bradley Beal is the one, but if you bring in Bradley Beal, you can't keep Harden. You can't have the two of them on the same team. The same guy.
I think you could. No, I don't think they are the same guy. In terms of passing and playmaking, James Harden was second in the league he was second in the league in assists this year. He's not the ball dominant James Harden that he's been in the past. Bradley Beal, the person it would hurt more is Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey's game is similar to that kind of an off-ball type of scorer, which is what Bradley Beal is. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think I would mess with the starting 5. I would just have the people be on Harden about you gotta be in shape in training camp for this season. You gotta stay in shape. That's what needs to happen. The bench needs to be filled out. We need role players that know what they're doing, that have experience. We need that type of a player like a PJ Tucker for Miami. We need that type of a grit, that type of a toughness on the team. It's not something that we had on our team this year. We need that, and I think that will be more valuable to us given the star power we already have. Tyrese, Joel, James. We have guys here. So I think that we need more quality pieces around those 3 guys.
I don't know. I'm so anti-Harden. He's the biggest, least clutch person there is. I just don't see them winning.
He doesn't have to be that guy. With a healthy Embiid, I think it would have been a different outcome. I truly believe that.
It's always the question, though. Is Embiid going to be healthy? And it's always he's doing way too much. I mean, look. Doc's got to go. The fact that Embiid was in that game at that point. I mean, that
was horrible.
They blew a massive lead. That dude he's a great basketball mind, but he is just the dumbest coach. Like, he just does dumb things. Like, just does dumb things. All you have to do when you're up 3-1 is just play your game. And he outthinks himself every time. Every time. You have the game in the bag. Why is it when your star player, who is, as you said, if Embiid is healthy, when that's the biggest question mark around your team, why is he in when you're up 20-some points? Why? In the fourth quarter? Why?
It's a good question.
And that was the one thing I will say, too, is I do think the biggest issue I had with the trade that they gave up too much with the Simmons trade is they did not need to give up Drummond in that trade. There was no need to give him up. That was a big loss for them because if Drummond was there, to me, there's no chance that he's
probably would have helped, but Drummond has already said that he's leaving Brooklyn. He said in the middle of the season.
I'm just saying. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that there's no doubt Embiid would be out of that game. Drummond is an Embiid health enhancer because you have a viable option if Embiid is out, where you're not just getting destroyed. So when you're up, there's no to me, there's no question. You're up that as soon as you're up 12, 13 in the fourth quarter, you have Drummond. Embiid's done for the night.
The whole point of why they traded Seth and traded Andre was so that they could keep Tyrese. That's what a lot of people are missing with the whole trade. Tyrese Maxey he's going to be a star, and I won't be surprised if he's an all-star player next year in the East. They were not trading him no matter what. So
I agree.
When you look at it that way,
I just don't think they needed to add Drummond in. I think Drummond was a throwaway.
Well, with Embiid,
I don't think if they took
you got to have a good backup center. So that's definitely something that I would address for the offseason.
Yeah.
Where did the Sixers fall in the draft lottery?
We don't have any draft picks.
Oh shoot! Yeah, that's right.
And we're not going to win because of draft picks. We gotta use the cap space we have, and we gotta put some role players that know what they're doing.
You gotta get on. Yeah, you gotta get free agency and yeah, it's yeah, I agree. You know, I wouldn't change the starting lineup. It's the bench. You know, the biggest thing, and I'll stand on this one, is Harden does not need to be the main guy. He's not the main guy. I don't expect him to be the main guy. No one should expect him to be the main guy. He is a facilitator. I said this when he went to Brooklyn. I said it when he went to Philly. Who was in the MVP convo this year? Was it Harden or Embiid?
Of course,
Embiid.
But what I don't get is how did Harden's game turn to such crap so quickly?
Because of the new foul rules. I mean, that's a big reason. He's not drawing fouls like he used to. That's a big reason. I think it has
more to do with his health and his conditioning.
Well, that too. And I think he has a bad attitude. That's my biggest gripe with him. I just think he's got a bad attitude. I think he's still got that prima donna mentality of I can do whatever I want. I'm James Harden. None of it matters. You're going to do what I say because I'm James Harden. If I come in overweight, you'll trade me. You don't trade me, whatever. I'll just play bad. I don't really care. Oh, I don't like Doc Rivers, so they're just gonna take 2 shots. We lose. I don't care. There's always next year. Like that's it's a pattern. Like everywhere he's gone, he's had issues with somebody. Everywhere. At some point, when is the problem no longer other people and the problem is you?
Well, to be fair, he had issues with Kyrie in Brooklyn. I can understand that exit.
Okay.
He doesn't have issues with Kyrie.
That was after Houston. He had issues with CP3. That was after he had issues with Durant and Westbrook in Oklahoma City. Everywhere he goes, he has issues. Everywhere.
I mean, he was a 6th man with Oklahoma City. The reason why he left was because he deserved an opportunity to shine and grow as a player.
Yeah, but
that wasn't going to happen with the Thunder.
He left. Durant was leaving. He left because he didn't want to. He knew he couldn't win with Russell, and he didn't like Russell Westbrook, and they had beef going on.
Well, Kevin didn't either. So what's the big deal? Nobody wants to play with Russ.
Yeah, the common denominator is Russell Westbrook.
You can argue that Oklahoma City should have kept Harden and got rid of Westbrook.
Yep.
They would have got a massive – people would have thought that trade was ridiculous at the time, and the Thunder would have got a massive haul for him, maybe more than they got for James Harden.
And then Russell
my
Westbrook, no
point
matter where
is,
he went,
still-
would have been the same player. And
Oh
then
yeah, he's
who
the
knows?
least IQ basketball player in the league. Literally.
If they keep, I mean, you know, who knows? I mean, like if they had got rid of Westbrook and kept Harden, maybe Durant and Harden win at least one in OKC.
I think it's possible.
You know, because you know what
Yeah.
type of player Westbrook is. Like the player he was is the player
He'll
he
never
is
win
now.
with
He
them.
just, yeah. And I mean, it's obvious why he left. Like they can't win with him. If you, however, people want to, you know, oh well, KD left and went to join the Warriors, the team that beat him. Okay, fine. You know what I mean? But the main reason why Durant left was because he could not play with Westbrook anymore.
Yeah. He wanted
It just
to play
so
team
happened the
basketball. and
Warriors were the
that's not
first to
something
ring
that
it.
would have happened with OKC.
No, not at
The
all.
Oilers really just
Just-
tied this game.
This is the most insane game I've ever seen in hockey.
I think so, man. Like they really came from down 4 goals twice. Wow.
I don't know. I've never in my life seen this.
You know
Not
what?
saying much.
Those fans definitely got their money's worth. I don't know what they're charging in Canada for hockey tickets, but they are definitely getting their money's worth like right now.
There's no
Canada
empty seats.
sucks.
It's huge it's huge in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
hasn't been a Canadian Stanley Cup winner in how long? So at least
Right.
one of these teams is going to the finals of their conference. At least there'll be a team. There'll be a
The
team
Red
from
Wings won
Florida.
recently.
No, it's been a while.
The Red Wings are Detroit.
Yeah, there hasn't been a Canadian team in a while. So, but there'll be a Florida team and a Canadian team in both conference finals. The East will have
Nice.
a Florida
Pretty
team, and the West will have a Canadian team. So we'll see. Florida against Canada.
Florida against Canada. I like it.
That would be interesting.
I still say that. I think the Lightning may repeat though.
You're right. 1993.
3P. I
Montreal
think the Lightning may
Canadiens.
3P.
Ugh,
Wow,
that'd be the worst.
I don't like the Lightning.
That would be
They're
the worst
boring.
thing for hockey.
Hey James, what was your thoughts on the Pat Bev thing?
Patrick Beverley,
Yeah.
I think he took it a little bit too far. At first, I didn't have too much of an issue with it because what he kept saying with Chris Paul, part of it was true, and I like Chris Paul, but part of what he was saying was the truth.
Adam
about
said
Chris
the same
Paul.
thing.
Chris Paul is
Yeah.
not a player that's he's respected, but he's not feared. Steph Curry is feared. You know, people are not staying up all night thinking about, oh man, Chris Paul's going to cook me tonight. He's going to drop 40 on me tonight.
Curry's getting to the
No one-
end though.
No one
He's
thinks
missing a
about
lot of shots.
that. Oh, he's
missing a lot.
still Steph Curry. He's still Steph Curry. People are still,
Bryant was still Kobe Bryant. Michael Jordan is still Michael Jordan. Father Time is
not at
undefeated.
50 years old.
And you know that's the thing. Is at
Undefeated.
one point in time,
Goal-
There was
he
another
said the
goal,
same
by the
thing.
way.
He's still Calgary just scored.
7-6
All the
now.
stuff Pat Bev kept saying, man, he kept taking it too far. Like he was taking shots at like all these different players. You know, he was taking shots at analysts. Analysts are doing their job, and like for Matt Barnes, for example, for saying James Harden doesn't deserve the max contract. He was bringing up, oh, you were in the NBA a few years ago, and you were bringing up how fighting for your own way to make money, but now you're like trying to take away from a man that's trying to make his money. It's not what Matt Barnes is trying to do. Matt Barnes is an analyst now. His job is to be like us, like what we're doing right now. Everyone's on Sideline Sports Network is giving their opinion on their shop. That's what he's doing. That's what he's getting paid to do. So you don't got to take shots at people for doing their job.
Yeah,
He's
you
doing
don't
their
have
job.
to. And I mean, if you had a bad game and you got a problem with an analyst that called you out on it, that's reviewing your play, well, there's
Right.
really only one solution. Play better. You play better, they're not talking bad about you on the air. You might get one analyst that might nitpick or two, but I mean, you go and drop 38, like, you know, who could say something bad about you? You drop 38 points. Okay. But if you come out, you know, and you score like 3 points and you were one of 15 you deserve to get talked about. You deserve to get talked about.
James Harden had 2 shots in the second half. Just saying.
Go ahead, James.
Okay, he had 2 shots in the second half.
Dude, quit. Like 2 shots in the second half. 2.
He didn't have a good playoff series.
No. That's not having a good playoff series. Not having a good playoff series. Not having a good second half is going 0 for 8, 0 for 10,
He didn't
0 for
show
15, 1 for 15. Taking 2 shots is deliberate. How many times has he taken 2 shots in his career in a second half? I bet you it's less than 5.
I have no idea. I mean, it's a problem. It's a
bet
big
you
reason why we
5.
lost. It wasn't the only reason we lost. There's a lot of
He
reasons.
took 2 shots. 2 shots. But what I'm saying is I'm just reiterating the point. This is an issue of his that popped up. He's got an attitude problem. It's not a one-time thing. This is his 4th team that he's had an attitude problem with. And you can say, oh, this one was isolated. This one was isolated. This one, at some point, he's the isolated incident.
I think they're all explainable.
I don't think it's an attitude. Like, some of the things that you're saying is an attitude problem. It's not an attitude problem. Being a 6th man and not really, like, getting your chance to, like, play real starters minutes, that's not an attitude problem. Kyrie being a distraction and saying, I'm not going to show up. Not only, like, forget the vaccination thing. Forget that. He was doing this before. He would just not talk to the team and not show up. He's a distraction. He's a selfish player. That's what he is. That's what he's always been. Ever since, like, he left Cleveland, he's made a spectacle of himself. So obviously teammates are going to get frustrated by that. So, yeah,
but I mean, think you're proving the point. When you go to Brooklyn, you know what you're getting yourself into. You know what you're getting yourself into at that point.
I mean,
he's done it before.
It's not really an attitude problem. Like, most people, a lot of people had an issue with it. But James Harden, because of his name, people bring his name up. But I promise you, he's not the only one on the team that had an issue with it.
Harden had 43 minutes in that game. So he had a lot more than 6th man minutes. 43 minutes.
In what game? I'm talking about when he was in OKC. He was coming off the bench. Coming off the bench with OKC.
I thought you were talking about in
no, I was saying he didn't have an attitude problem with OKC because he's coming off the bench. I mean, he knows he's a great player. If he's starting somewhere else, he's going to be able to show how great he is, and that's what he did.
In any event,
I don't know.
I think at least for me, it's time to wrap up. So,
no, we gotta go 7
JB,
more minutes. We gotta go 7 more minutes.
Why?
Because of TV time. Can't just cut the middle.
You said we have to go 26 minutes.
We're past 26 minutes. Now it's an hour show, which means we gotta go 56 or 57.
Oh my god.
Yes. That's why the clock is important. You know, when you say you're going to be there, you be there. When you say you're not going to be there, you're not there. Communication key.
Well, you're not there, so. So come up with another topic then.
Yeah,
so Adam, how scared of you of the Philadelphia Eagles taking the division from the Dallas Cowboys this season?
Okay, this should take the 7 minutes. Go ahead.
Eagles.
Go ahead.
Eagles are going nowhere. Cowboys are going nowhere.
Eagles are going nowhere.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not this year.
This year.
You sure about that? Have you guys seen the additions we've made to the team? AJ Brown, Pro Bowl wide receiver.
This is why Eagles fans. Oh my god! You want to put your money where your mouth is?
I mean, the moves that we've made.
Gladly that the Eagles are not.
We got Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round. He's a 1st-round talent. We drafted Jordan Davis, a big defensive lineman. He's over 340 pounds. He ran a 4.7 at the combine. He's a freak athlete.
Dream team, baby. Dream team, right?
If you want If you wanted to tell me next year, you guys would win the division, I'd be all for
that's
it.
what people said last
They
year.
may
People
win the
didn't have us
division
as a
this year.
playoff team. We made the playoffs.
But this
They
year-
may win the division again.
I don't think it's happening.
So
You need to look. If you don't believe me, look at the schedule. Look at the teams that we're playing, and tell me this team can't
Yeah,
win
they have
11,
a crappy
11 or 12
schedule.
games.
I agree with you. Cowboys have a crappy schedule too. The Cowboys are trash.
That's the
this year.
point. If basically, if
They
we
can
beat
win the
you guys,
division.
we're winning the division. It's pretty much
Okay.
that simple.
And then what?
The NFC's
You're not beating
weak.
Green Bay.
We can win. We can win a home playoff game. We probably won't have to
You're
face
not going to
Green
be
Bay.
home against Green Bay. The Saints are going to be a lot better this year.
They won't
Saints.
be better than us. They won't be better than us.
Saints are gone.
Their defense is. No, they're not, dude.
Our
Saints are
defense is
legit.
good. Our defense is good. We had a good defense last year. Top 15
I love the
in
Eagles.
terms of yards allowed.
Adam, how many games
Schedule
you
had
got the
nothing
Cowboys
to do with
winning?
Probably 9. Their schedule is really easy, so it could be 10. It's in between 9 or 10, though. Their schedule is so easy.
Theoretically, if
It's gonna be one of the two.
it's that easy, I mean, like, shouldn't you be saying like, oh, they're gonna win like 12 or 13 games?
I have us
Yeah, but
winning 11 or 12.
Of course.
11 or 12.
Eagles
Let's
are
go
not
through the
winning.
schedule.
Check
We
out
got-
the schedule.
We got 5 minutes. Pull up the schedule. You tell me the 11 wins.
Okay. The schedule.
This is why I love Eagles fans so much.
Oh, you should.
Ugh,
You should.
daily pace.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Detroit, that's a win.
0 for 1.
Minnesota, that's a win. Washington,
Awesome.
that's a win. Jacksonville, that's a win. We'll probably lose to the Cardinals on the road, beat the Cowboys at home. We will say Steelers will be a tough game. Mike Tomlin's a good coach. He's never had a losing
Steelers are
record.
going to be trash.
We'll lose. Yeah, well, we always lose a game we're not supposed to lose, so. Gonna beat Washington. Colts will get us. Packers will get us. We'll beat the Titans.
I don't
AJ
know.
Brown. AJ Brown revenge
Eagles are
game.
good.
Giants. We're gonna sweep the Giants. They can never
They'll
beat
sweep
us.
The Giants.
The
The Giants
Bears.
stink.
The Bears stink. We'll beat them. We'll probably beat the Saints. Bare minimum, I have us
Saints
winning
are-
11 games. Bare minimum.
Saints
Wow.
are a lot. I love it. Everybody's going to trash talk on the
No,
Saints. The Saints were a legit
we have the Saints
team.
first round pick next year. They're going to give us a good first rounder. Their schedule's a lot
Saints were a
tougher than us. Look at-
legit team.
You can't
They
just
were
base it off of, oh, you think this team's going to be good. Are they going to be better than the teams that they're going to face? And for the Saints, I can't see it. I looked at the Saints schedule. I looked at our schedule. Our schedule's a lot more favorable than theirs.
Still going to beat you.
I don't know about that. Actually, no, they're not.
I don't know. I count.
Jalen Hurts owns the Saints. Have you seen him play against the Saints? He kills them every time he plays against them. They can't stop him.
This is true.
Jalen Hurts and killing any team does not go together.
It does. The tape doesn't lie. Check it out for yourself.
He did smoke the Saints.
Ask Marcus Davenport what he did to him. He juked his soul out and scored a 40-yard touchdown on him.
With his legs, you have a chance, but not with his arm, which is why he's not going to be there for much longer.
So you're telling me that Jalen Hurts has started one full NFL season. He was being used as a gadget player like Taysom Hill's rookie year, but the book's closed on him. He can't take the next step as a passer. I don't believe
He's
that.
not going to, no. Okay.
So says what? Like, what do you have? What evidence do you have to back that up?
That's why I say
he's a young player. You
this
can't
year.
just close the book on him like that.
Where has he been a successful passer? At what level?
He's been in the league like 2 years. This is his third
Okay,
season.
at what level?
This is his
of
second season. He's gotten
So he didn't
better
play
every.
college.
He's gotten better every year of his career. His
So he didn't play
completion
college.
percentage went up by 10% from his first
When
year.
you
to his
answer
second
my
year.
question without actually answering the question, it answers the question.
He has
He
gotten
didn't
better
have
as a
any
passer. He has.
Okay, but
Look at how much of a jump he took from when he was with Alabama to when he was with Oklahoma. When he was with Oklahoma, he was a Heisman runner-up. The only reason he didn't win a Heisman that season was because of Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was phenomenal. That might have been the best season ever by a college quarterback.
And Jalen Hurts ran on everybody. He didn't pass on everybody. That's why he got kicked out of Alabama his senior year for Tua.
He passed for 3,900 yards that season. And 38 touchdown passes.
In the Big 12, he passed for 3,900 yards. That's the stat.
Okay, and Tua was supposedly lighting up the SEC. Look at him.
Plays no defense.
Doesn't matter.
But you can only pass against who your defenses that you face. So, I mean, the guy's not a bad quarterback. That's why I say you guys won't win this year, because he's still got to step up to another level. But I think he's the real deal.
He's definitely not the real deal.
Oh,
I won't say he's definitely not the real deal, but
I think one more year, and then having A.J. Brown again the year after, he's going to be unbelievable.
He hasn't played in the same system for 2 years in a row since he was with Alabama. Keep that in mind. That matters.
Yeah, Alabama got rid of him.
I mean, he's going into another year in the system. He knows the plays. He knows what he's comfortable with doing. So the team's going to put him in a better position to succeed, and that's what they did by bringing in more weapons for him. They drafted Devontae Smith the first round last year, his teammate with Alabama, and they brought in A.J. Brown, his best friend, so the chemistry is right there. Maybe call me crazy, but A.J. Brown is going to be for Jalen Hurts what Jamar Chase was for Joe Burrow. Their relationship and their chemistry is why they went to such a high level, and that's what A.J. Brown's going to mean to this team. That's what he's going to mean for Jalen Hurts.
I can't disagree with you, but I don't see it this year. I think one more year, and then it'll be a completely different quarterback. But that's just me. And the good news is we're done for the evening. So we'll start with Jay. You can start. How can people find you?
Well, I'll keep it brief. Confidential Tuesdays. Myself, Jacob, Steve Swanda, Jen, Jordan, and also hosted by JB Ellis. Also, The Gauntlet, myself, my brother James, JJ, and Dom. That's on Saturdays. Sundays, Basket Bros, myself, Will, Dom, Jacob Christner. We everywhere.
Okay. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Philly Gem. I do all sorts of videos about the Eagles, any signings or anything like that. Training camp, I pretty much cover everything that's happening with the team. Speaking of which, the LinkedIn podcast, which was already underway, but after having some discussions, we've decided that we're going to make it the official flagship show for the Eagles on the Sideline Sports Network. So very excited for that. That's going to be on Friday nights at 8 o'clock Eastern. And otherwise, you can see us, like Jay said, at the Gauntlet, where we cover everything that's going on in the NFL, have a fun twist on it. We just like to chill and, be ourselves and have fun and, bring people the best NFL talk possible. So that's where you guys can find me at.
Adam?
Find me Golds Cards, my Instagram, Golds_cards. You got tax question, cards questions. That's where I'm at. You can hit me up there. JB, where can we find you?
JB_ the program, a bunch of the other shows that we're talking about already. That's it for this week, guys. We'll see you in 2 weeks here. Make sure you're watching The Gauntlet on Saturday night. Great show. Talk to you guys later.